Hey everyone, I'm Ben, and welcome to Rolling River. Rolling River is a fast-paced action game where players control a river down the path of least resistance, avoiding obstacles along the way to the ocean before the river dries up. In this game, players directly control the river horizontally in 4 lanes by either tapping the arrows at the bottom of the screen or by using the arrow keys on a computer. However, players can never stop the river from moving forward, and so must be careful of debris in its path. Normally, the river occupies 2 lanes of the riverbed. But players can fork the river at any time into 2 separate branches. These branches move faster than normal, and are independently controlled by the now 2 sets of arrows on screen, or by the A and D keys as well as the arrow keys on a keyboard. If players want to rejoin the river branches, all they have to do is tap the inner keys when the branches are side by side. Along the way, players will encounter obstacles in its path like rocks and trees and maybe a boat or two, but they'll also find power-ups to help them make it to the ocean. The flood power-up will stretch the river into all 4 lanes and make it impervious to any obstacle in its path for a short amount of time. Finding one of the many timers along the way will add extra time before your river dries up. In this game are 2 antagonists, the first of which is nature itself, things like the rocks and trees as I mentioned before. Also, time is an antagonist, because when the time runs out the river dries up, which means the player loses and must restart the game. There are many decisions a player must make quickly in this game. When faced with an obstacle in the path, players must decide to either go around to preserve the river, or to split the river into 2 to avoid hitting it. When the river occupies 2 lanes and fails to avoid an obstacle, it will automatically split into 2 branches. If one of the smaller branches also fails to avoid an obstacle, it will then be eliminated, leaving the player with only 1 small branch moving very quickly. If the player loses this last branch to an obstacle, it's game over. Players must also decide whether they want to keep the river intact or if they want to keep the river's separate branches. An intact river provides more durability, which can offer protection against obstacles. The smaller branches, however, offer a faster speed to help reach the ocean more quickly, and this really helps when players are almost out of time. The game has a natural theme, and is from the top-down 2D perspective. The only game I've found that was similar to this one is a game for the iOS called Infinite Skater. Both games are infinite runners that occupy lanes and have constant motion. My game is different, as it adds the challenge of multiple actors for players. Rolling River offers many play possibilities, one of which may be a laid-back style where players try to keep their best to keep the river intact and collect many timers to reach the ocean at their leisure. Other players may find they enjoy the fast-paced action of keeping the river separate, seeking to reach the goal as fast as possible. There are several risks I see for this game, the first of which is creating a custom camera that can keep up with the action. We also don't have a dedicated art team that can supply animation or assets. Random generation of objects and obstacles is something we will have to learn. And dealing with 2 actors at once, being separately controllable, is both the biggest risk but also the most enjoyable challenge that I've discovered with this game. Thanks for watching.